Din, din, like the ending. I muted you, mate, so I've asked you to unmute because you started singing partway through.
I was singing along to my own song. How sad is that?
Mate, if you can't sing to your own stuff, who can? Anyway, introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is Kate Bush. Who the fuck is Kurt Pickstone?
Oh,
No, this
mate,
is
mate, you'll have to come on that. All joking apart, the idea of that show is we can talk about. I love doing the interviews, and they're too short. They should be 5 to 10 minutes, now half an hour. So I want to do a show which is not just talking to artists, but as I know a lot of artists, I want to get to know them a bit better. And it's all, no holds barred. We'll talk about everything, what people want to talk about, what they don't. So you're welcome to come on that as well, over Zoom.
gosh. I'm never sure what that is. Who is that person that says the Kate Bush thing? Was that somebody who called in before or something like that?
Oh, no, that's my little jingle, that. That's this one. It's this one.
This is Kate Bush. Who the fuck is Kurt Pickstone?
Yeah, because it stems from one of my early shows I used to do, and I used to say I won't play jazz or opera because I think it's shit, and I won't play Kate Bush because I think she's just screaming. So what happened after that? People started sending me. I need to put it on the wall. I've got Kate Bush records been sent to me, and then that was. Actually, I'll tell you who did it. I'm letting you into a little secret. That's done by Coastal Fire Department's daughter. It's awesome.
Ah, right. I
Right?
always wonder. Every time I hear that, I always wonder what the context is to that. So
That's the
I wanted
context
to ask.
behind it. So I need to tell people more about that. And she sends me all sorts of stuff, and it's wonderful. And some people actually thought it was Kate Bush. But one of these days we might get. Anyway, this is about you, not about me and Kate Bush. She's had enough airplay. Introduce
Ah,
yourself.
no. Sorry about that. I started asking you a question. No, sorry. So the Last Coast is a solo project. So a lot of people think it's a band. So when I release music, a lot of people say they, the Last Coast, and they're going to be on the show and stuff like that. But this is it's me in this room here. That's pretty much my studio, which is this wee office room here. This is where I create all the music, apart from some drum tracks and things like that. If I need to do that, or if I use automated drum sounds, it just depends. No, my name's Craig Higgins and I live in East Lothian, in Scotland. I've been on the show before actually. It's part of a band called the Names Drivers.
Yeah.
That was earlier on in the year with a couple of guys. But
I remember.
Last Coast is my soul.
Yeah, I remember Name Driver 1, 2, and 3, and I remember all that. Yeah, it's great, and I interviewed that many people. I forget who I've interviewed, who I've spoke to, and in the context. And now you said that obviously makes sense. Yeah, and that's good, mate. It's good. So, why the last Ghost? Is that because you're the last driver?
Do you know what? I was thinking about that before I came on. I don't think anybody's ever asked that. And I actually no idea why I picked that name. I think I first did a song in about 2018. I'd been away from music for 20 years, making music, and I did a song that was dead depressing. So I thought to myself, it sounded like like a ghost. But then I thought, what's more depressing than a ghost? The Last Ghost. Imagine how lonely that would be. So that was it. It was just supposed to be a really kind of emo name. But yeah, I mean, the music isn't always depressing as that first couple of songs I had out. But some of it is, to be fair. But I did music in 2018. As I say, I hadn't made any real music for 20 years. So I started doing it again as an older person, having done music as my teenage and 20s and stuff like that. The first few singles, yeah, I wouldn't really want to listen to them now. The first couple of EPs, I was kind of learning what to do, learning how to play the instruments and stuff like that. But then I done an album in 2020 during lockdown, and that was the first. I would say that's the first sort of good Last Ghost thing that first really good kind of release that I did, and that was in 2020. It took me a few years to kind of get the recording right, to learn how to produce music, to kind of sort of play the stuff to a high enough level. So anything before that album, I'd like to try and delete off Spotify and stuff like that, but I don't think you can. I think it's but I don't think one should do that. I think you just have to leave it.
Well, yes, and no. There's trains of thoughts in there about that because we've got Gallagher's Green. They completely deleted their entire album, their first album, redid it. That's a big gamble. Lost all the streams. But our interview last week, theirs even better. They formed in the 90s, and all they had was tapes, and their manager lost all the tapes. So they've reformed, and now they've found one tape and listened to it. Anyway, brilliant. You could have called yourself the Last Driver.
I know, the Name Drivers came later than the Last Ghost, actually. I was already the Last Ghost before I did the Name Drivers.
That makes sense. And you've just explained that. I wasn't paying attention. That makes sense. Wonderful.
No worries. It's hard. I lose track as well.
I didn't quite understand, but now we all understand now, don't we? So there's a question that we're going to start asking a lot of people is, which bands are you listening to right now? New bands? Are you listening to any new stuff?
Do you know what? I'm absolutely ashamed to say this, but I don't listen to a lot of new music. I listen to a lot of indie music just through like Twitter and stuff that like Janice puts on playlists and stuff like that. So I'm into stuff like things that you've heard on the show already. I like those heavy souls. I've played a gig with Craig before, and others like Marseille stuff. I've just sort of heard through that.
Good answer.
When it comes to current bands, I must say I'm really stuck in the past. I listen to 60s, 70s, 90s. I maxed out in the 2000s, which is I'm ashamed of that, to be honest. But
you're on the wrong show, mate. No, you're not on the wrong show. But that's what this show's about. I get it all the time. People get. I know a few people. My wife's the same. I get in the car with her, and she plays the same song, and I'm like, oh. And then I put some on. She goes, oh, I don't know this. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Do you know what I mean? We've got totally opposite tastes. I like all the new stuff, and I get totally bored. That's the
That's why I listen to the show, because I would never hear that music. So I listen to your show.
Excellent.
I listen to 2 or 3 other ones as well. Louder the War and stuff like that. And if it wasn't for that, I would have sort of no great frame of reference. I was looking at my calendar. I'm going to some gigs that are coming up in the next week. Well, it's like Gaz Coombs, Paul Weller, Evan Dando, Lemonhead. It's real like. I feel like I'm kind of sort of a bit stuck in that sort of era.
There's nothing wrong in that, but I think we need to blend it in with some new stuff, don't we? It's like it's like food and you're cooking and everything. You'll have some box standard stuff that you have all the time. You tried and tested. Mine's chili. I can make it with my house shut virtually. And then no, not chili again. Yeah, but it's a staple. And then every now and then I made tandoori chicken tonight, first time, from scratch. So. I think it's the same with music. So let's mix our diet up with a bit of new stuff. The old stuff's great and it's got a place and we need it. I listened to John's show on Tuesday, which is the Rock Apocalypse, and I heard some stuff on there from the 60s and 70s I've never heard before, and I was blown away. You know what I mean? Because when you get experts in their field, like John, he'll bring you to something that he knows and go, listen to this. If you try and search that on social media and also on Spotify and go, play me some rock, they'll never get played because they play you all the same stuff that's just played all the time. It's insane. Yeah. Oh, what's she saying? You're welcome. Oof, cannot wait for that. I don't know what she's saying. You got any questions, people? Slap them in there. Say, I can't even ask you the apocalypse question because you're on your own. Who died first? It'd be you because you're on your own. Simple.
I know. I'd be dead. I'd be lying dead in a ditch.
Right. and because your accent, this could cause you some kerfuffle. But Relay Records, who oppose some of the questions, that they always ask, are you City or United?
Do you know what? I'm probably United. Like when I was a kid, my dad liked Man United. I don't know why. He's Scottish like me, but he liked Man United probably, and I liked him because of Alex Ferguson, just to see some Scottish doing really well.
See, I can't stand football. I think it's boring. However, from a leadership point of view, Alex Ferguson. I'm a City fan if pushed, but Alex Ferguson is amazing what he did with that club, and he's unbelievable. He was absolutely. He was a superstar at it. So whatever he did, it was great at it. Anyway, wonderful. So what have you got planned then? Because obviously you've reformed back as your old name, the Last Ghost. What's on the pipeline?
Well, I just got an album a couple of weeks ago. So that song you played for America is off the new album. So it's another album, 10 songs. I've done 7 albums in the last 4 years.
Wow.
This one's 10 songs. The songs are all short, they're 3 minutes long. The first album I made was about 70 minutes long with about 20 songs on it, and the songs were like 30 minutes long and stuff. And then as I've kind of did more and more records and learned how to produce records and all the rest of it, the mission of this album was to cut the songs right down, no more than 3 minutes. Every song, I wanted it to sound like a single. I wanted it to sound like Teenage Fan Club or bands that I like, Supergrass, something like that from the 90s, where all the songs are just short and sweet. They come in, they've got verses and choruses. No experimental stuff, no big crazy, excuse my language, no big crazy keyboards and hundreds of harmonies. This time it was stripped down. It sounds like a band in a room. Yeah. And I think it's my best album.
Mate, you can fucking swear on this show. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. Someone's going to say. So, I like the video going to America. What was the rationale behind that? I like the composition of it. I think it's quite cool. I quite like that.
Aye, it's my attempt at like a 3-minute song from the 60s. It's supposed to sound like something like the Velvet Underground or something like that, or Bob Dylan, or even like the Pixies or something like that from the 90s. It's supposed to be a perfect 3-minute single, verse chorus, and it was pretty anti-American. The lyrics, I've nothing against American people. I've got American family; they're all great. But America as a country, it was very anti-American. Just the way it is, it's so divisive just now. And all the people running around with guns and stuff like that, and you see it playing out on the TV all the time. Some of the horrible things that happen there, and I don't want to be political at all because I'm not being. But I guess my sort of thing in the song was more around, we're a country with our own identity. Whether that's Britain or Scotland or whatever, we shouldn't be looking to countries, any country, and trying to be like them. We should be ourselves. I always feel this country wants to be like America. Anything that happens there, good or bad, we seem to sort of follow it. And I've never liked that as growing up. I've always liked British music and stuff like that. I do like some American bands, and I've no problem with American people whatsoever. But I just hate that idea that we're I don't know, like America comes up with something and we need to do it, and I just don't like that.
No, I agree. And America, I mean, it's not obviously it was part of us until Traitors Day, and then they did their own shit and carried on and what have you. But they're not. It's not a British colony, is it? As such, it's for Europe. It's got all sorts in there: German, French, everything all mashed up. And you've got the culture that they've got, and you can understand why they've got the gun culture because it's the Wild West, wasn't it? And so can understand why they've got guns. They've still got bears and bobcats and all sorts. So
it upsets me, like most people, I would think, this country we're quite lucky. We've got crime, of course we have, and there is a pretty gun crime. But when you see the news all the time, and I was growing up and in the 2000s, school shootings and all these kind of things, and I just kind of like it. Just frightens me is the way it's going, and it seems to be quite divisive over there just now. I toned the lyrics down a wee bit because I didn't want to alienate people. I've got a lot of American fans and stuff like that. As I say, I've got a lot of family in America.
Say what you fucking think. Listen, you can't please everyone. Do you know what I mean? You can't please everyone. So say what's in it. It's up to you. Anyway, that's Dougie Stone. That's the ethos of it. I say as it is, and I mean, my wife gives me shit all the time for it. My lad, well, what have you said that for? Well, fucking hell, I'm gonna piss someone off by saying whatever. You can't make everybody happy. So I get what you're saying. You generally like the people, but the culture's a bit.
There's something about it at the moment, yeah. I mean, peace and love to
but there's some really positive stuff about them, like the way that they're just fucking totally. Passionate about it. Oh, you'll go America. I've got our neighbour's daughter's living over there at the minute with a fella, and she says we're coming back after 2 years. We're coming back after 2 years because we just can't bring a kid up there. She said they don't even talk about school shootings. There's a school shooting and no one will talk about it. It's like it's off limits, and you think how crazy is that? But then, in some respects, I understand why they've got guns. And I mean, I watched one this morning. It was unbelievable. Guy runs into a cafe with a gun to hold it up. You know what I mean? Going around, gives you money and everything. The dickhead had a fake gun, didn't even have a real gun. And a fella just got up out of his chair and put 12 bullets in him. Something like that. Anyway, bang, 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 bang. On the floor, he was a bit dead at the end of it. So I sort of... It's madness. It's madness. Right, some questions. So, yeah, anyway, some Americans are okay, some are not. It depends where you go, don't you? You're right. We're all becoming fat fuckers because of the States, aren't we? We're all lardy asses. Right, got a question here. We've got... serious questions. What's your favourite pair of socks?
My favourite pair of socks. I always wear odd socks. All my socks have got coloured toes, and I never ever pair them because I think I've got some sort of weird thing that if I have the same colour of socks on, I'll die. So I always mix them up.
Different pairs, not the same pair.
They're the same. They're the same from the same collection. Like you've got a 7-pack or something.
Yeah,
like
but you
that.
mix them up. Different
I have
colours.
to mix them up. I can't wear the same. I can't match them. Can't do it.
I know why you do that because then when you're doing the laundry, it doesn't matter. You just fucking. So that's brilliant.
Well,
That is a time saving thing. Listen, I'm going to ask you another question. Have you got a light there you can flick on? Because we had this last.
Week.
You've gone dark. We had dark mode last week, which was like there you go. That's a bit better. Which is it almost become like Crime Watch. You know where you get the silhouette of the person, and this is an actual This is a cracking question. Oh, that's better. This is a cracking question from Pretty Basic. They're in Brazil. They were on earlier on. Brilliant. He says, how do you classify your style of music?
I don't know. I think I was guilty on the first few records of just throwing everything at it. There was like weird hip hop stuff. There was bloody pianos, music. There was depressing music. There was rock music. There was like, but now I think it's like indie. I think my music's like 90s indie music. I think it sounds like, as I say, stuff sounding like Ash or Supergrass or Oasis and stuff like that. I think that's the sort of where I've ended up, because that was the time where I was in bands when I was young, and that was my era of music and stuff like that. So I guess I feel like it's like I'm a 90s indie guy at heart, and I think it's like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, we all try to categorise everyone in something, but do you know what? I don't know. We do it, but we don't need to do it? But yeah, it's a good question. Lele Records are over in Guernsey. He says, who would he have in his backing band?
Oh, I'd have Steve White on the drums. He was in the Style Council. He was in Paul Wheeler's band.
Oh.
I'd have, oh man, who would I have? I'd probably have McCartney on bass. Maybe John Entwistle at the Who. I'd have Dave Gilmour on lead guitar, and I'd have Ray Davis on acoustic guitar and backing vocals. How about that? That sounds alright.
Brilliant! What a mashup that is. Who did you say on drums?
I'd have Keith Moon on drums, probably. Oh, sorry, Steve White. So I'd have Steve White. He's the drummer at Paul Wheeler's solo work, but also he was in the Style Council when he was younger, and I think he's the best drummer of all time, to be honest. His brother was in Oasis. Remember Oasis when they got their second drummer, Alan White?
Yeah,
that's his brother.
Brilliant.
But Steve White's the better drummer of the two.
I like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. See, for me, Stuart Copeland, awesome, and Blondie. I forgot what his name is now.
Clem Buck.
Yeah. Oh, I saw them. I saw them a few years ago. She can't sing for Toffee now, but he can play, and I was absolutely mesmerised watching him. And I come back because I've got parallel lines when I was a kid anyway. And I was like, oh my God, to watch him actually perform, he's just outstanding. You could have even said Oz from Coastal Fire Department because he's brilliant.
Somebody else I need to check out again. I keep needing to check out newer music, so that's one on my list, definitely. Coastal Fire Department.
Yeah, they've got a gig on the 9th of November in Guernsey, which is going to be absolutely wonderful. So that's great. So have you got any gigs? So obviously you're on your own now, so you're planning to do gigs, and if you're doing gigs, who's going to be performing with you?
Yeah, so I'd never really done gigs before because I'd been in a band. I'd been a singer in a band, so I had the easy job of just standing behind the mic. I didn't have to play anything, so just stood and done the singing, dead easy. This was 25, almost 30 years ago. But since I've been solo, I'm not really a kind of solo performer guy, but I have done a few gigs with just acoustic guitar, and I can get by. I'm not prolific. I'm not like a genius musician or that, but I can get by enough. So I've done a few gigs, and I'm going to probably try and do a couple more, maybe one in Wales, one in Scotland, maybe a couple in Scotland. So I'm trying to get that lined up just now. So every time I do a gig, I say it'll be the last one, and it's about a year in between gigs, and I've not done one since March. So yeah, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to come back to the stage and do a couple of shows, but they'll be smaller, intimate acoustic shows.
Cool. Whereabouts do you live in Scotland?
It's East Lothian, so it's kind of near Edinburgh, 10 miles outside Edinburgh. And it's nice, just out in the countryside, more or less. It's kind of, I can go 10 minutes that way and be in the middle of nowhere, or 20 minutes that way and be in Edinburgh. So it's great, it's perfect.
Yeah, I do like Scotland. I've only been a couple of times, but I think it's glorious. And Edinburgh is an outstanding city. The architecture in Edinburgh is just on another level. I just think it's outstanding.
It is. It's really, I'm just so lucky. You just don't think about it because it's there. It's just there. I was just down in the Lake District.
The lakes, yeah, the lakes is stunning as well. Countryside, isn't it? I'm a city boy, but I adore the countryside now. I love it. Well, especially riding motorcycles wherever there's not a city and there's loads of country lanes. I'm in.
Motorbike guy. I'm sure you said that before. Motorbike guy. I thought that. Yeah. I'm scared of them. I'm terrified of them.
Yeah, me too.
I guess that's the thrill, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you got to die of something, so die of something you enjoy doing. You know what I mean? It's pick a hobby. So, no, I love it. And that's another thing I've probably told people before. I had like 16, 17 years off. I started riding when I was a kid, and then I had about 17 years off, and then my best mate got cancer at 40. Was he about 40? Early 40s. And I was like, sod this, I'm getting a bike again, because could be dead tomorrow. So
it's too short. Yeah, do the thing you love. That's definitely true.
Exactly. Have we got any more questions? I think let me just refresh that, see if there's anything else coming through. So there was another one that we was going to ask you, but I can't bloody think of it. I've lost the plot. Oh yeah, because we probably asked you when you came on the band. As yourself, has there been any disasters when you've been doing any tours or what have you that could be amusing?
Yeah. Every gig I do is a fucking disaster, to be honest. But the last, I done one in Cardiff. I think it was either early this year. It was last year actually. and I got the train down, and I was running a wee bit late for the sound check, and I got on the train to Bristol to change over, and I was like, oh, here we go, train's nice and early, jumped on it. It was the wrong one, heading in the complete wrong direction. So I was rushing for the sound check. I got there, turned up at the gig. I was playing with Craig out of Those Heavy Souls, and a band called Stellar Echoes arrived at the venue. With nothing on me, no guitar, nothing. I just rocked up. I was like, all right, I'm here to play a gig. Can I borrow a guitar? I just never thought to bring one. And so it wasn't a disaster. The disaster was averted, but it just shows I was so planned. I was so rehearsing the songs. I was so ready to do the thing. Turned up, got the wrong train, no guitar. Then never even brought a plectrum. Got to the thing, and
at least you had a plectrum.
Aye, the first couple of songs were a bit shaky.
But, that is brilliant. Oh, that was a question I had earlier on, which is brilliant. We asked it the other week. Galah's Green, he says, have you ever done a gig where the sound engineer turned up on a skateboard? I'll tell you about it in the second one. It's about.
No. I would love that though. I like that.
Did you what it was? I don't know if you heard it, but I'll repeat it anyway. I asked them what was the embarrassing thing the other week, and basically what he said is they was doing a gig, and the sound engineer was an hour late, and he turned up on a skateboard, a skateboard under his arm, come in, and he's like, "You're an hour late." He went, "Yeah, traffic." Traffic on the skateboard. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man,
What an idiot.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. I love a sound guy to turn up on a skateboard.
I know. Well, yeah, as long as you turn up on time, it's garbage, isn't it? So you're releasing a 10-track album. When's that out, or is it out?
It was out 2 weeks ago. It's called Knuckle Duster.
Oh.
And it was. I think because the songs were short and sharp, and I thought they should just be like a punch, So yeah, what's better than a punch with a knuckle duster? So yeah, that's the name of the album, and it was out 2 weeks ago, and it's I always say it's my best album. The last album I did was a bit of a disaster. It completely bombed. The songs were quite long, they were depressing. Nobody seemed to like it. So this time I thought, you know what, I'm going to make the exact fucking opposite. Excuse my language. The last opposite of that album, where all the songs are tight, punchy, upbeat, 3 minutes long, no fanning around, not loads of overdubs, not overproduced, not loads of harmonies, and it's going to be the exact opposite of the album I did before. They got slated. And it was. I never had a single song. I just sat down in July in front of the computer without any songs. I had 10 songs in about 3 weeks, and I thought they were. I think they're strong. I think they're good. I recorded the album in about 4 weeks, and at weekends just. So I think it was quick. It's my best album, I would say.
So what's that. There's a couple of things I forget before. Bruce Forsyth used to say that, and I used to say this to all my staff. You're my favourite employee and everything. It's your favourite album, isn't it? So that's the same thing. And it should be, shouldn't it? Your latest album should be your favourite one, shouldn't it? It's like this show. This is my favourite show I've done. Do you know what I mean? It gets me back.
I used to always think that was when bands said that, when they had a new album, they always said it was their best album, and I thought that was quite annoying. But I guess it's true. I guess it's because you're fed up with the other ones by that point.
Yeah, you are.
You're buzzing for it.
Janice is saying, yeah, I played Knuckle Duster. I like it. That's an interesting name. Is there any rationale behind Knuckle Duster, or is it just a name that pops into your head?
I want to call the album Knuckle Dust and Spithead. I thought it was the name of sort of two fictional characters, but it doesn't roll off the tongue very easily, so I shortened it to Knuckle Duster, and I thought it would just be just a short, punchy title for a short, punchy album.
I like it.
A comedy name, but...
I like it. Is there anything I've not covered that you want to get out there or promote or talk about before we start wrapping up? And then I've got a track to play for you. Well, obviously you can listen to it when you go and get on the other side of the screen.
No, just to say thanks very much. As I say, I've for somebody at my age, I'm not young. I'm not far off 50. I came back to music, just as I say, after a 20-year break. And for people who have embraced it, that my music's been well received. I've done 7 albums now and 2 with the band as well. And people have got on it and they've dug it, and I've met a lot of great people who do music as well. And it's been a good hobby. It's been a good thing to get back into. It's not serious like it used to be when I was a kid, when I was doing it kind of full time. But it's been a good thing to do, especially during lockdown and stuff like that. It's good for your well-being, I think, and your sort of mental health to be doing the thing that you do and the thing that I do. It's the thing you should escape. It's your hobby. It's the thing you go and do at night away from work. And I think it's, if anybody's thinking of doing music or thinking of forming a band and that, don't delay, just do it, because it's the best thing you'll ever do.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I've said it loads of times, and she says you must love it because I've done this nearly 7 years now, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going, and You do it because you love, and it is your escape, and it is. I just think someone's got to do this. So why not be me? And you can look back in the future and go, yeah, I've done that, and it's good.
Yeah.
Love it, absolutely love it, mate. Janice says, because this must be new features that she's introduced to the show that she's not told me about. She said, can you move Stellar Echoes up the track as it's his choice? Is this your choice then?
Yeah, it's a band I played with when I was in Wales, and I like them. They're called Stellar Echoes, and they've got a new single out, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's called Blue on Blue.
Must be a new feature that Janice has introduced, and I think it's absolutely wonderful that she has. She never told me about it. She probably has, but sometimes I don't listen to her. I just go into a zone out, and do you know what I mean? I don't listen to stuff I want to listen to.
No, it's cool. It's great. I think they like it. They're from Wales, and I think they'll dig it.
Yeah, I did move it up. Still, yeah, it's there. Brilliant, mate. Well, it's been absolutely wonderful to chat to you again. Keep in touch. Send us any videos or anything that's going on. Janice will send it to us. We'll get it on the show. Anything you're releasing that's not out, let us know, and we'll get it on here.
That's great. Thank you very much, Kirk.
But whatever you do, wish you all the best for the future, mate. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for your time. And I'm going to play your track. Not your track, but your choice. Stellar Echoes. Blue on Blue. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. Cheers.
Awesome. That was the last ghost, people. It's gone. It's turned into a ghost. This is Dougie's a Tommy Dustbin. Part 116. Hit it.